I think this is a very important video for you guys out there to watch because this claim has been made very popular by, investors, many people, and it made sense, right? And if you guys out there know people that believe in this claim because it's been popularly, said online, share this video with them because I think it's an interesting take about this claim about something that changed the Pokemon market and supply. I rarely ask you guys or tell you to share this video, but seriously, this is something to think about. There's really no true 100% direct evidence proving either way, but is another thing to think about that maybe this claim isn't all so true that some people made it out to be. But maybe, you can argue some things, but let's just talk about, this. So, Pokemon investors claimed, or still claim, that Rip and Ships changed everything. You guys have heard this argument before, right? That everything's changed with supply because there's Rip and Ships. People are Rip and shipping 24/7. There's people that have like 7-figure businesses doing this. People hire these people just open packs. The whole business is crazy, and it makes supply dry up faster than it did before Rip and Ships existed, right? And you guys have it's been a very popularized thing that's being said, right? But you never really hear the opposite of an argument against why maybe it didn't do anything. And I saw this, and I have to give credit. I saw this on a comment from a subreddit from a post, and it brought up a very good argument. Maybe this topic, maybe this whole claim is being popularized, and maybe it's not true at all. Because did it really change anything? So, like I said, there could be an argument against Rip and Shipping that it didn't do anything at all. How? You might be like, how? If people are opening up packs 24/7 and there's evidence of people having 6-figure businesses just ripping packs, how is it possible it didn't change the market, the supply, right? How is it possible? Well, it can be said that instead of people buying their own packs like before Rip and Ships existed, they now just buy through Rip and Ships. Now, if you can't already maybe tell what this means, nothing changed. That's literally what it means. Nothing changed. And if you still don't understand, like, how did nothing change? Well, think about this. If somebody buys a pack themselves, or through a Rip and Ship, there are not any more packs being opened just because of Rip and Ships. And I'll give you guys an example. If you still don't understand what I'm trying to say here, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that a person, before Rip and Ships existed, bought, let's say 10 packs a month or whatever, right? Let's use 10 packs a month. Maybe they went to a store to just buy some packs. Maybe they bought an ETB and that's all. They opened 10 packs. But now Rip and Ships are popular. And they're like, oh, I want to participate in a Rip and Ship. Instead of going to the store and buying 10 packs, which I know now is like impossible because of the scalpers, but besides the point, they just buy their 10 packs through the Rip and Shipper. This is a 0% change in packs being opened because whether the person is buying through the store, whether the person is buying through Rip and Ship, there's no difference because the amount of products, the amount of packs being made by Pokemon, it's all the same, right? So it's strictly the amount being consumed. Did it change? No, because they just decided instead of going to the store and buying and opening themselves, they're just going to open through another source. So there was literally no change at all. And that's to be argued. But there is no true evidence, I guess, either way, because it's so hard. It's like impossible to really see, okay, did things really change because of Rip and Ships? I mean, is there still possibly an argument you could make that, Rip and Ships, still change the market? You can argue that maybe now prices are higher than ever. Maybe that's some evidence that Rip and Ships changed everything, that maybe more supply has gotten open, therefore prices are higher. You can argue that. Or, argument could also be made against that claim that just there's more popularity generally now than there was previously, and therefore it's just demand. And it doesn't matter that Rip and Ships exist, it's just demand, right? It's not because of Rip and Ships. There's a lot of things you can say. And even another thing you can maybe argue with Rip and Ships is that there's accessibility to it where you can literally just go onto a stream and buy a pack instantaneously, basically, and they open it for you. You can make that argument too. but there's no conclusive evidence and 100% evidence that rip and ships really did anything. It's just a claim that makes sense, right? That people said that it changed everything. It does, the idea makes sense. And that's why I may have even talked about this before, but hearing this comment from a post really made me rethink this whole rip and ship thing. Now, in the future, I truly believe this whole rip and ship thing is going to slow down quite a bit. It may have already slowed down. I don't really know. I don't do rip and ships or pay attention. I know nothing about the space. But the whole rip and ship thing is hype. I think that when packs get cheap, whatever cheap means, right? It's all relative. But let's say packs go to MSRP. I think that's a good example to use. Let's say packs go to MSRP and products are all MSRP and that's basically market price. And you could just go to the store, right, and buy it, or maybe even cheaper. Maybe the store is, maybe even, I don't know, cheaper or around the same as market price. You may argue, or can argue, that if the price difference is so insane, because obviously rip and shippers got to make money, if the price difference is big enough, I think people won't care for the rip and ship experience, and they would probably just, be like, I can just buy it myself. I can just go to the store, buy it myself, do it physically, and I can save some money, right? I think when it gets to that point where, supply is available and you can go to a store and it's a little bit cheaper than a rip and ship, I think people are going to stop doing the rip and ship thing. I think it's truly just a hype thing, this rip and ship thing. I don't think it's going to, be super popular and super strong forever. When the market goes down, I think obviously, rip and ships are also going to slow down quite a bit. And I feel like there will be a point where rip and ships just really can't make money because packs got cheap enough and more available enough where people don't really care for the rip and ship thing. Because now we're in a state that still you can't find stuff in person, right? So I guess maybe that would give more of an incentive for somebody to just buy from a rip and ship. And maybe some rip and ships. I don't know how much people charge. If there's a negligible, premium you're paying from market price, it's possible people may just go that route. For example, people that, run rip and ships are probably paying maybe 70% or something for packs from market price. If they just sell at market, depending on the quantity they're selling, it may be viable just to sell at market price and still profit. I mean, I don't know the business, but it's possible, right? In my mind, that could be a thing. Maybe there's like a 5-10% premium. That's like nothing. Maybe people would then be like, okay, the experience is worth my 5-10% premium I'm paying my packs, right? But, I mean, this is all obviously just an opinion. Like I said, I mean, there's no conclusive evidence on, I think, either side, whether it changed everything or didn't. But this is just another perspective to think about with this whole rip and ship thing, because there's so many things I've started to realize in the space that get popularized that have a lot of arguments you can make against it. And it's like one of those things I talked about also, previously, with people claiming certain seasonal events that change the market. And there's been so many instances recently that shows that it's not true at all. And, some of these things I feel like just get passed around to the point where people just say it like it's truth, but you can make an argument against it. And I feel like this is one of the things, because truly, I mean, looking at it at this angle, it can really be said that this whole thing has been blown out of proportion of how much supply has been really, changed because of rip and ships. But it's entirely possible that rip and ships really have, taken out more supply than there would have been without, rip and ships existing. It's possible, but it's only, just, I guess, I just don't think there's any direct evidence pointing either way. So I think it just could just be an opinion, and there's different arguments to be made, because I really don't think you can argue one side over another. It's just like, it's whatever you believe in. But I just wanted to, share this angle of rip and ships, that possibly it's not even doing anything. But I mean, I don't really have an opinion. I just wanted to share this other side to this because I think it's interesting to talk about, because so many people just talk about it changing supply, everything, supply is getting, burned and all this. Well, possibly it's just the same amount there would have been without it, and people are just buying their packs through rip and ships instead of buying it themselves. So that's all I want to share in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know, do you think rip and ships have really changed the market and everything, or do you think it's maybe a little bit overstated? Maybe it's changed it a little bit, but not to the extent that some people claim. But that's all I want to share in this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.